Hey everybody, this is Mike from Audio Maniac, and I'm going to show you a little bit about Heavyocity's Evolve. Evolve is a brand new virtual instrument that was designed specifically for composers of the visual medias, motion pictures, television, trailers, video games, all that stuff. And it was created by the owners of Heavy Melody Music, which was a group of composers and musicians who realized that there was a hole, I guess, in the virtual instrument market. And they wanted to create a single instrument that would include all the sounds that they like to use, the dramatic percussion, affected strings, kind of the found object sounds that they like to incorporate into their own compositions and soundtracks. So they formed Heavyocity and created Evolve. And Evolve, as soon as you fire it up, I've got it playing right now, as you can tell, sounds really nice. It's got a bunch of really good sounds that the guys created specifically for this sample and loop player. It comes wrapped in the Contact 2 player, and it comes with over 6 gigabytes of loops, and there's also a expansion that you can get from the website once you're a registered user, and an update which includes a bunch more multis and instruments and surround capability and all kinds of fun stuff. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you around the GUI. Alright, so I've got a Pro Tools 8 session opened here, and I'm going to go ahead and load Evolve from on one of the inserts. So I go to Instruments, and then I go to Contact Player 2. As I said before, Evolve comes wrapped in the Contact 2 player. If you have Contact 3, you can actually go in and do a little more editing and tweaking of the individual sounds, which is fun, but the sounds that come with Evolve are incredible anyway. And this is what we get, a default player view. And this is our instrument pane. It shows whenever we load an instrument or one of the multis, it shows up here. We've got our virtual keyboard that you can make disappear by clicking that button. Then we've got the browser here. You can see that Evolve is already preloaded, ready to go. So here's the instruments. You can choose the individual ones to load in. They come in 5 different sections: the rhythmic suites, percussive kits, stings and transitions, tonality and effects, and the expanded content that I mentioned before. So as soon as you get the software, go to Heavyocity's website and download that expanded content, and it gives you several more instruments. Gives you a lot of stuff, and including some surround instruments. So if you have that capability, then there you go. It's a nice little free addition to all registered users. To start off with, though, I think I'm going to use one of the multis. Now, the multis are basically groups of 8 instruments that are fit in with a specific theme. For instance, big screen devastation, comic relievers, creep into the unknown. Basically, it gives you a good idea of what you're getting into when you choose one of these: Ghost Stories, Lost Island. So one of the cool things is you can actually create your own multis by loading individual instruments in and saving and naming it. But I'm going to go with Big Screen Devastation to start off with. And then you get this little window here that says Replace Multi. Pressing No will merge in the new instruments. So if I already had instruments in here and I press No, then the multi-instruments will be added to the instruments I already have. Obviously I don't have anything there though, so I'll hit Yes, which if I had instruments in there would replace them. So something to be aware of. And bam, there they are. So you can see that they're already assigned to the different MIDI channels automatically. And in my Pro Tools session, not only do I have the stereo instrument track, but I also created 8 MIDI tracks as well, and then assigned each one to the different MIDI channels, A1, A2, A3, A4, all that, so forth. So, you can see, let's take a look at all the instruments here. Cymbal effects, stings, sweepy, backward effects. Stings build up to fear, that should give you an idea what you're getting into there. Gong effects, vocal chants, and effects. The guys at Heavyocity, as soon as you play some of these instruments, and that's what I did in the intro. So you can tell these guys work, basically. These sounds are really functional, really usable, and you can just tell that they recorded sounds that they felt would be very functional for the end user. And one interesting thing I should point out, you see how the keys are blue here? Well, that shows the mapping of that particular instrument. So we've got our lowest notes. Wow. That's a lot of low end. And then as you come up higher, just like on a piano keyboard where the lowest tones are on the left and the higher tones are on the right, you get the higher instruments. One thing about Evolve is they've really included a lot of very, very good sounds. So try to keep track. Like if you know that on one of the piano keys there's a certain sound that you like for the future, you may want to write that down somewhere. But anyways, so that was all sounds from this dramatic evolved instrument here. And I should point out that within this Contact 2 player, you can have 4 different banks with up to 16 instruments per bank for a total of 64. That's a lot of instruments. But I want to point out a couple other things. First of all, within each instrument you usually have an effects section here. Some of the instruments, or most of them, include a reverb and a delay. They have these built in. It also has a high pass filter and a low pass filter that you can choose. Panning is handled up here, and the instrument's volume, you can adjust that here. Solo and mute, you can even tune the instrument. Here you go. Very, very nice. You also have this output section here that you can turn on, and you can choose how it will handle the different outputs. But if you notice, you can also insert more effects. We've got our compressor, limiter, an inverter, saturation, lo-fi, stereo modeler, distortion, phaser, flanger, chorus, and then a whole bunch of filters as well. So you really do have a lot of control over the individual sounds here. We've got 4 auxes here, aux buses, and this is our 5.1 if you've got that capability. So let's get this out of the way really quick here under outputs. And by the way, for each instrument you just go up and you click aux button, and this comes up, and you can determine how much you want to send to the different auxes there. You have your choice of 4. Very convenient. So